Hello all. Welcome to the second episode of SKOPE Talks. Today we have Dr. Saji Gopinath with us. Dr. Saji Gopinath is the first Vice Chancellor of the newly formed Kerala University of Digital Science, Innovation and Technology. He served as the Chief Executive Officer of Kerala Startup Mission for 3 years and also worked as the Director of Indian Institute of Information Technology Management, Kerala. Dr. Gopinath was associated with the Indian Institute of Management as its Dean and Professor in Operations Management. A very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you.
It's our privilege to have you here. So my first question is, what makes Digital University of Kerala special when compared to conventional universities? And also, what are the challenges that you are facing?
So the first thing is, I think I need to clarify that digital university is not a virtual university. So because many times when you hear about digital, we think that it's an online university, you have courses only in the online mode, etc. That's not the idea of this university. So there are 2 or 3 aspects which we differentiate ourselves. The first is typically it is a university, it is a unitary university. So compared to normal conventional universities, we don't have multiple campuses, multiple affiliating colleges. We will have more campuses, but not affiliating institutions. Second thing is, it is focusing primarily on postgraduate education and research. And why it is digital? Because it primarily focuses on creation of talent, leading research and development of the products in the context of the digital world. So, when you think about digital, we always think about technology, and we think that somebody who has to study in digital areas, especially today, we are in the AI world. So, we always believe that you really require an engineering or a technology background to study that. So, we actually wanted to make that change. People from multiple disciplines can actually go do their postgraduate programs in digital related areas. Say, for example, we have a program on Bio AI. This is for people who are from biological sciences. So, combining their basic degree in botany or zoology or any of the other life sciences, and how do you apply AI data analytics on the top of it. So, that's on one of our course. Similarly, we have something on geospatial analytics, which is focusing more on people with geology or geography background, people with physics background. We have computational science course, which looks at people from physics or mathematics background sort of it. So, the idea is that the most of the universities are actually formed for addressing the demands of the industrial world. Now, as we are moving, most of our vocation is now moved from conventional industrial thing to the digital aspects of it. When I say digital, it's not IT alone, but primarily activities are more service oriented and things like that. So, in all these elements, technology has become an integral part of it. So, it is important that almost all discipline people should actually be migrated into that. Where their conventional education, you apply a digital layer on that top of it, so they can use it much better than that. So, for example, if you are a journalist, you can actually think about how to use journalism technologies, right? Or you are a musician, how do you actually use digital technologies to make your music more relevant? So it's applicable across art, science, humanities, technology, everything. So, that is an area where digital university is working. It's not achieved its potential. We have only started 5 schools, of which only 4 schools are fully operational. The other school is just started with 1 program. So we have a school of computer science, we have a school of electronics, which is conventionally focusing on technology, but we have a school of informatics, which looks at application of this in various fields, like something like agriculture, health, sports, these sort of areas it will be looking at. And then a digital sciences, where how do you apply digital into conventional sciences, physics, chemistry, biological sciences, etc. So, this is our education program. So, that is our second difference. The third difference is that we have a very strong focus on entrepreneurship and innovation. So, today country's largest electronic incubator is with us. Close to around 80-82 companies are there. The students of university as well as others can actually use that facilities. So, our idea is that this university should be a prime mover for Kerala's knowledge economy mission, not in an indirect manner, but in a direct manner. So, that is the last element which differentiates us, is that we know that universities are change makers in the world, right? So, universities create talent who in turn develop economy. because they will go and work and develop economy. But we believe that universities can directly create economic changes. So if Stanford can create or can play a key role in creating a Silicon Valley, why can't we actually have universities thinking in a similar lines? So our objective is that can university play a very important role in developing an industrial business ecosystem in the state of Kerala, specifically focusing on knowledge industry. So we actually work through very large research centers, translational research centers, which is established with the help of industries and which is spin off a large number of startups and other companies. Even existing companies transformation also we try to do it through that. So two centers have been set up, one on IoT, other is on graphene, so both are futuristic. And we also have several product development in IT space. The advantage is that because the university is doing product development, this is all professional products in the sense which is needed by the industry or the government. So people get an exposure to live product development process. So students can actually be a part of that. So these are some of the things which makes the university different from that. Of course, we also have an online presence, not on degree or diploma programs, but on certificate programs. But we try to do that in scale. Like for example, our blockchain program has covered close to around 20,000 people already. That's a certificate online program sort of a thing. We also try to influence such certificate programs in newer disciplines per se. So these are some of the areas which makes a digital university different from a conventional university.
What are the challenges that you are facing now?
So there are a few, I will not say challenges, but there are some of the issues which need to be resolved. See, basically education today is like industry maybe 30 years back. 1990s is a time when industry could not really grow because of huge number of regulations in the country. And that's basically when we liberalized it and we actually reduced the regulations to a large extent, and then you can see how industrial growth has happened in the country. Now, education is exactly at that sort of a crossroad today. You have too many regulations which is stifling the education institutions. So that is actually getting eased up because with NEP regulations make a big change. So we are at the time of transition. So that transition period is something which actually define. You may either go for it or you may really excel. So we are exactly at that time. Maybe next 2 to 3 years or 2 to 5 years is the time when there is going to be a lot of changes which is happening in the external environment, which may have to be adopted. And as a university which is focusing on newer technologies, our biggest challenge is that we need to actually ensure that curriculum get revised very fast. Newer methods of pedagogies have to be adopted, but at the same time, the regulation may not allow you that. And unfortunately, in this country, many of the accreditations, etc., are allowed only when you are a few years older. I cannot get into an NAC accreditation, even though my parameters, most of the parameters we are matching, especially in the research and patents and things like that. We cannot get into that because law does not allow that. Regulation allows you that. So that is actually the challenge. Even online programs, we cannot really launch full-fledged because even though we have a platform of ours, we have people who know how to create the content, people who know how to get into the online education, but then the regulations limits that. So our biggest challenge is the regulation. The second thing is, as I said, moving from an industrial world to a digital world is not that easy because today the interesting challenge is that there are children who are from Gen Z, while there are parents who are from millennials. Now, there is a conflict here, right? Because these are kids who actually watch even a normal video at 2x speeds or 3x speeds, and then our curriculum and our parents think at half x speed. So there is a conflict. So you cannot really make that change very easily because this conflict is because there is a dilemma over there. So this actually make getting high quality, good quality students is definitely becoming a challenge. So as a new university, we have completely looked at a completely different model. We actually focuses more on research. So we have good group of research students and good group of postdoctoral fellows. And we also wanted to be a self-sustaining university from day one, not with government funds, not with fees, because there are private universities which are sustainable, but they are charging huge fees. So our model is that without fees, without government grant, can you be sustainable? The only way you can do is you actually sweat the intellectual asset of the university. So people come out with interesting products, faculty and research groups come out with interesting products. Some of them have huge market potential. They get involved in large project development, which will brings a revenue for that. So that way it is an entrepreneurial type of a model which is there. It is not conventional. So naturally there are resistances. There will be people who have challenges to adopt to this. But more or less we are in track, but there will be definitely will be some challenge, because I don't believe that you cannot approach a 2023 environment with a 1966 model of a university, right? You really require two different things as such, like you cannot solve today's problem with yesterday's mindset. You really require tomorrow's mindset to solve today's problem. So that change is obviously a challenge. But it's more than a challenge. It's a evolutionary process, I should say.
There is always a gap between industry and curriculum. That is the demand of industry and curriculum. So how Digital University of Kerala is addressing that?
Okay, so I think I will answer this from a larger perspective. See, we always hear that there is a issue that colleges does not produce what industry require, right? That's exactly what you said. And we say that students are not employable and things like that. This is a common rhetoric, and everybody speaks about it. And any meeting people used to speak about it. And academics, unfortunately, are always on a back foot, because the one who employs say that this is not useful as such. But let's ask this question. Let's take top 100 companies in the world. Large number of companies are actually headed by Indians. Take top institutions in India. A large number of people, institutions are headed by people from Kerala. All of them have come through this education system. Look at Fortune 500 companies and ask this question, that of this Fortune 500 companies, what percentage of CEOs have not gone to the college? You will see that not even 1%. Everybody has gone through an education system. So it is wrong to say that education systems are bad, right? So education system only made them reach where they are. Then what is this concept of people are not employable, etc. coming? This is basically where we need to understand the new world. Now, what was happening in the past? In the past, a student learned in a college, and most of the colleges and most of our education system never prepares the student for day one. It prepares the student for a life. So it's a lifelong learning which they give. So you know that something which you learned in 6th semester or 7th semester or 3rd year of your BSc is not something which you apply when you join industry. This may help you later as something which remain in you. Now, what used to happen is that you have been trained in the college more in knowledge, very little in skills. You go into an industry or a business. Business will actually train you. Maybe 1 year training, maybe 6 months training, where they will actually teach you on the exact nuances of a technology, exact nuances of a business, and make you billable if you use IT jargon, or make you employable. Now, in the new world, unfortunately, the technology changes so fast, right? When I am joining and I don't know what is generative AI, I am useless. And then by the time the industry train you in the new technology, there is new technology will come. So what industry expects is that you come in day one with the skills. They are not really worried about knowledge, because for them, you need to be employable on day one. So the challenge which institutions like us face is that you cannot compromise knowledge for skills. You really require knowledge and skills coming together. Unfortunately, what happened is that most of the institutions in the country and in the state, they focus on knowledge. Industry focus on skills. So there are skilling agencies which came in between, and because of that, students will find that why do I learn at all? I need to only do that. So I will do a C programming or a Java programming. I don't want to learn thermodynamics because that is not what is immediately required. So this will create a layer of skilled guys. They may be day one employed. 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, they will never reach the places where our current previous people have reached. So we are, as a university, we are very, very clear about this. We know that industry requires day one professionals. At the same time, as a university, I cannot compromise on my knowledge. So what we do is we are creating a curriculum which joins these two. So for example, our electronics program, we don't have a classroom. Students from day one itself go into laboratories. There they will actually have skills, but to do that they have to learn, for which we provide them knowledge resources. So that sort of an orientation actually do it. And I believe that across the country, across the world, for example, today the challenge for education institutions is that it is not knowledge or skills, it is knowledge and skills. And we need to come out with methodologies to do that. It's not that what we are doing is the right model, but that is the need of the hour. And we are trying to address that. And we believe that the reason why we take a large number of projects by the faculty, of course, it brings revenue for the university, but it also provides students with the live projects. No, it is not, they are not dummy cases, they are real cases. You are basically running the state's planning is run on our software. The country is one of the biggest gig platform is developed by us. We are running a very large project, close to 1.8 million cattle is actually being RFID enabled. So these are all very, very large live projects where people actually get into that. Very big data analytics projects are being done. So this combination actually ensures that to a large extent the challenge of industry versus institute, which you said, which is a very valid and very live issue, may get addressed. But we are only 2 years old. We are not very old. Many of these are very, very new as such.
People always say that the Indian education system has not much developed when compared to other foreign universities. So how can we accelerate the evolution with the help of digital skills?
Okay, so we need to ask this question, why it was not developed, right? Rather than when you criticize it, we need to ask this question. See, as I said, we have several top people in top leadership positions, scholars from our system. So with all these people, and many of the universities were actually headed by extremely knowledgeable people. Even our political leadership which was handling education both in the state as well as the central and many point of time are really scholars. So with all those people, if our system has not developed, there should be some innate reasons. So one of the innate reason is that if you go back some 20 years back or 15 years back, the whole industrial growth is actually being driven by resources, right? You have a financial resources, you have human resources, etc., which drives that. And so people who have money and who do not have money, there is a big gap. Now this creates a challenge that a person who joining a system has no clarity that what he or she can get into. So I may be a beautiful singer, but I can never be assured that I can make a career in singing. Or I may be a person who likes, let's say, programming, but I'm not sure at that point of time that I can actually make a career in. So the education system actually go on to a lot of breadth. So you will learn history, you will learn physics, you will learn so many things you will learn, because they don't know where the opportunities are. We were always in a world where there is a shortage of opportunities. Now in the last few years, especially post-internet period, this whole thing has inverted. Suddenly your knowledge is available, and thanks to English education, we are able to access this knowledge, and with the advent of smartphones and other things, it's easy for me to access it. So suddenly you see that gap, the knowledge gap is shrinking, and people also suddenly find a lot of opportunities coming in. And today we speak about a world we call as a creator economy, right? Where I can sit here and I can create a company. I can actually, if I am a nice singer, I don't need anybody else's help. I can use my laptop. I can use some of the free software available, do it, edit it, and then put it on a YouTube channel, and I can earn revenue. So your whole concept in the past that I need to go to a company to do, and all of things are gone. So this will actually now accelerate the learning. Now, what was happening in the other part of the world, especially developed countries? In the developed countries, they had this luxury of abundance at that point of time. When we have a country where per capita income is some 60,000 rupees, and you are comparing with somebody who has got $60,000, you basically are understanding the difference, right? So that difference is now reducing, because you don't really require a lot of money to achieve what the others have achieved. So this is actually the change. So with this change, today any student in Kerala, for that matter in India, they can actually access the best education in the world. They don't have to actually limit themselves. If they think that a particular area, a particular topic, there is one professor in some universities in the world who is the best. In the past, it is very difficult for you to access that. Today, it is easy to access it. You get that course done. So that knowledge gap reduces, knowledge industries develop. People will can decide. No, when I am at age of 6 or 7 or 8 or 10, I can decide that okay, this is a career which I want to make. Then I can focus on that. So which will actually make this evolve very fast.
We would like to know that whether the Digital University of Kerala have any unique platform for virtual internships.
Well, we don't have virtual internships, but we can do the internships virtually. That is possible because, as I said, we are inviting students from any institution, not necessarily engineering, but others, to on specific projects which faculty float on internship, and that need not necessarily that they have to physically come to the campus. Wherever data is allowed to be accessed outside, they can do that. There are some projects which that is not allowed because of the data privacy and NDA conditions, etc. We cannot give it. But the selection process is generally physical, where it's not that somebody want to do an internship and we take that. It's not that way. It's the other way around. Like we collect requirement from the faculty, and then that will be floated. And whoever applies, there will be a interview where faculty looks at it, and then we will select. But this we can pay also. In the sense, it's not necessarily free. We can pay also, but then we expect them to take it as a very serious thing. It's not because, as I said, these are all serious commercial projects. So we cannot expect them to come and just for a certificate sort of a thing. If they come, that is not what we expect. We are also running a program now in blockchain, and maybe later, very soon, we will do it in other areas also, where people who have graduated can actually join this program, where 3 months they don't have to pay anything. We also don't pay anything, but we actually give them resources. It is not necessary that they need to have any background blockchain, but they will basically learn themselves on the blockchain technologies. And next period, after 3 months, they can actually get into a project where we pay them, and they can go through to another 6 months. Then they decide whether they want to continue. If they want to continue, we will pay them at a higher level, and they can decide whether they continue with us or they can take up another job. So that is a sort of a finishing school, but a very different type of finishing school we do. But we don't have very large online internship program where thousands of students have been taken. No, but students who are interested to work on live projects which are floated, that we are ready to take, but not in thousands of numbers.
Apart from hard skills, what other skills should students possess in this fast-paced world?
I think even the hard skills are not easy to be static, right? Because your technologies keep on changing, and you cannot expect that one technology is going to be the de facto standard. So one of the important things which we need to do is how to learn to learn. Now, ideally, what we used to say is that they should know where the resources are. The biggest skill, the most important skill on how to do is how fast I can access resources, how fast I can access networks if I don't know. See, if a new technology comes, can you actually use YouTube videos, tutorials, etc. and learn that? If that skill you possess, then you can easily go further. And today when you speak about personality, the personality by definition is adaptability to environment, right? And the adaptability to environment in the past was like you know how to work with another person and things like that. Today we are moving very fast into a world where it's a remote working and all. So the personality is now become a personality to the technology. How fast I am able to adapt to a new technology? How am I able to move from something which I learned in a college to something different? So the learnability is going to be the key skill, and that is a skill which makes the thing important. Even as we know that many times students who are taken through a competitive examination, some institutions in the country take students to very huge competition, IITs or AIMS or things like that. So why recruiters give a lot of preference to them is that because these children has actually gone through that learning process. So that is what helped them, because later at some point of time also when they really wanted to put new technology etc., they know how to immediately do that. So that is something which everybody has to start looking at. How do I actually create that learnability in me? And that's not a very difficult thing as such.
Recent studies are showing that there is a hike in students going abroad for pursue higher education by 68% when compared to previous years, especially in Kerala. So, what is your view on this, sir?
My point is that I am not feeling bad that students are going out of Kerala, but I feel bad that students are not coming into Kerala. So, because anytime going to another place and getting an exposure is nothing wrong, because as we see the newer world, one of the strength we said learnability. Other is how do you work in a network? How do you network? And when you move out, you see heterogeneous crowds. You can network with them. So that is a big value add you bring in, and you know how to work in a multicultural environment. Many of the problems are global. Your jobs also will be global. So that advantage is there. But what is little worrisome is that why students from other states or other part of the world not coming to Kerala? So see, if you go to any part of India, I'm 100% sure that there will be a Keralite as a teacher in one of the schools. In fact, many schools, right? Because in the school education, Kerala teachers have made a difference in many parts of the world, and in India, in almost every part. So it is not that people are not aware of Kerala, but even after people are aware of Kerala, why are they not coming for studying here? That is an area which we need to really worry about. But for people who are going out, one important thing which we need to understand is that in today's world, topics are not very important. Because you learn computer science today, tomorrow maybe you are completely moving to synthetic biology. You don't know. That may be the key thing. So what is important is the institution where you are going. So going abroad is okay, but where are you going in abroad is important. Are you going to an institution where no environment is there, no learning abilities are there, no infrastructure is there, and you are only been day one itself you are actually start working on some restaurant and not having a campus environment at all. That is very disturbing. So that more than you may be better off studying in a local college where you have that ecosystem, you have the learning, than going in another part of the world where that particular college does not provide you any facilities. So that is important. Where you go, you have to select. And so especially for parents who are many parents like to have their children going abroad, their immediate thought process is yes, let them go because they get a better pay. Now, it is important to understand that in many parts of the world, the starting pay may be higher, but when you become a skilled person, the pay is not necessarily at par or better than India. At the end, India is a country which is growing at around 10%, 12% in the next few years. Now it may be 6-7%, but so in the days to come, the number of opportunities in India is going to double up. So naturally, you get far more opportunities than that. So I used to tell some of the students that see, you have a choice. When you are standing in a bus stop, a bus is coming, a little bit of dirty bus, maybe it is not very well painted and all, and a very beautifully decorated bullock cart is coming. It's your choice which one you need to take. So when you are going abroad, especially for countries which are growing 1%, 2%, you are actually going into that beautifully decorated bullock cart. But bus will take you far. Bullock cart will initially be very nice, cozy, nice. Everybody will appreciate you. But when you go further, you find that you will lose out in the game. So that is something which people have to think about. For studies, going abroad is nothing wrong, but ensure that studies which you do is relevant for us country. Can you actually come back and make best of the opportunities available? Then it is good.
And finally, what is your message to our readers who would like to pursue their career?
Yeah, I think career. So I'll speak two things. One is about the studies abroad and career. The studies abroad or even in India, I will say that you give emphasis to institution than the program, because doing a good program, any program in a good institution is far more valuable than doing so-called the hot topic in a not so good institution. Because we all know that these are all cycles, right? Sometime back, electronics was in hype. Then it has gone down. I joined the course thinking that electronics is the best thing. By the time I pass out, electronics may be down. Today, computer may be in hype, but the time I come out, the electronic industry may be really going up. So it is not the course or the branch which matters. Today, moving from one branch to another branch, moving from one thing to another is not very difficult. You can always do multiple things simultaneously also. There are lot of doctors who are excellent in computer science. What is required is you really require to have a good environment of people who work with you, challenges you, give you inputs, etc. That is basically in institutions matter. So if you are going for studies abroad, always think that are you going to the right institution? If it is in the QS 100 or QS 500 or time higher education ranking top, yes, you can go. But if it is a Namge Vaste college, just because you get a visa and going, it is going to doom you in the long run. And as far as career is concerned, again, career also you need to, it's not the country which matters. What area you are getting in matter. Perhaps an area which is going to grow is an area you should choose. Going to a very developed country in an area which is mature, you may not really go places. As I said, starting you may get, when you compare the dollar salary with this, you will think it is higher. But after a period, you find that the people back home are actually gone higher up in place. And money cannot motivate you beyond the limit. Then you require other things. Those things you may not get. You may be earning more, but you are not leading an organization. You are not heading an organization. There are people who have joined, just to give an example, people who have joined automobile industries at some point of time when computer industries were actually growing, but they joined automobile industry, they were paying higher. But they have not risen to the top. But many people who joined the computer industry, because computers have, that IT industry has grown fast, they actually risen to the top. So today you may be joining a $1 billion company compared to a $500 billion company. But 10 years down the line, that $1 billion company become a $500 billion company and you become a CEO. $500 billion company may become a $700 billion company, but you still continue to be a manager. So that essence, that is something which we need to think about it. Select the right institution for starting your studies. Select the right career, growth career, whatever is growing fast for your thing. These two things are something which we need to do it. And in India now, we can afford to take risks. It's not like the past. People can afford to risk. So take a little bit of a risk. Identify areas which actually excites you and which helps you to really grow fast. Be there and do the best in that. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very so much for sending your questions.
Thank you.
With this, we are winding up this episode. Check out our SKOPE magazine for more informative content. The link will be given in the description. Also, please subscribe to our channel. We will be back with another dignitary soon. Stay tuned.